The merchant's daughters and the faithful dog. It is told, O wise and noble listener, that in ancient times there lived a wealthy merchant who was blessed by God with 3 daughters, each as wise as she was beautiful. Their mother had passed away when they were very young, so their father raised them with great love, becoming both a father and a mother to them. His own mother, the girl's grandmother, also lived with them, and together they filled the house with warmth and care. The merchant adored his daughters and spared no expense in pleasing them. Whatever they desired, he would bring. The people of the village envied them for the life of luxury and comfort they enjoyed. One day the merchant decided to perform the pilgrimage to the house of God. As the time of Hajj drew near, he grew anxious. What shall I do with my daughters? I have no relatives in this village. Should I leave them alone? He stayed up all night thinking. In the morning he went to the market and bought a dog, a rooster, a cat, and a donkey, and brought them home. He said to the animals, I entrust you with my daughters. Do not let your eyes leave them. To his daughters he said, I've bought enough food and supplies to last you 2 full months. You must not open the door to anyone. If you ever need help, one of you may go to the roof and call to our neighbor. When I return, I will repay her for whatever she gives you. With that, he kissed his daughters goodbye and joined the caravan. One day, the eldest daughter was cleaning fish. The cat smelled it and meowed, circling the kitchen. The girl got angry and hit the cat with a broom. Go away, you cursed creature! The cat growled and hissed. You'll regret this. You and your sisters shall suffer. Then it ran to the storage room and urinated on the box of matches. That night, when the girl tried to cook, the matches were ruined. She climbed to the rooftop and called to the neighbor. But she wasn't home. How can I get fire at this hour? The girl sighed. Father told us not to speak to anyone. The rooster, who had heard her, said, I see a fire deep in the forest. The girl looked and said, Yes, I see it too. She called her sisters, and together they followed the flickering light into the dark woods. There they found a cottage and knocked on the door. An old woman opened it, hiding her face in her cloak. Her voice was rough as she asked, What do you want at this hour, girls? The eldest explained they needed just a spark of fire to cook their dinner. The old woman smiled slyly. When she saw the 3 plump girls, she said, Wait here. I'll bring you a knife to cut a stick from the fire. But that woman was no ordinary woman. She was a ghoul, a man-eating monster in disguise. She went inside, sharpened a large knife until it gleamed, then handed it to the girl. As the girl bent to cut a stick, she cut her finger and began to cry. On the way home, drops of her blood fell to the ground. The faithful dog followed behind, covering the drops with dirt, but the spiteful cat dug them up again so the ghoul could follow the trail. That night, the girls cooked and saved a coal in the brazier for the next day. They went to bed early, as usual. At midnight, the ghoul followed the blood trail to the house. Standing at the door, she began to sing in a chilling voice. 3 fat girls inside the house with fire and coal and a blazing flame. The first gave me fire, and I'll eat her before morning comes. But the donkey brayed and shouted, My master entrusted me with them. You shall not harm them. The ghoul leapt upon the donkey, devoured him, and returned to her cottage, muttering, Your meat was tough and flavorless. You should have kept your mouth shut. The next night, she returned and sang the same wicked rhyme. The rooster cried out, You shall not harm them, I swear by my master. So the ghoul snatched him and ate him feathers and all. But he didn't satisfy her. She came again, repeating the rhyme, but this time the dog stood firm, growling, My master entrusted me with them. You'll have to go through me first. The dog was fierce and strong. The ghoul was afraid and ran. Frustrated, she disguised herself, covering her monstrous features, and carried a dish of butter and honey. She knocked on the door and called, sweetly, It's me, your Aunt Mabruka. I brought you a treat and came to spend the night." The girls looked through a crack and saw the dish. They hadn't tasted butter in weeks and were overjoyed. But the youngest sister whispered, "We have no aunt named Mabruka. And where are the rooster and donkey?" "Something is wrong!" Her sisters laughed at her. "Don't spoil our fun. No one will know." They dragged her by the hair, pinched her, and opened the door. Together they killed the dog and threw him into the cellar. The ghoul grinned and sang, "The dog is dead and gone, and soon I'll eat you one by one. No one will hear, no one will know, and no one will stop the evil I sow." But from the cellar the dog spoke. "My master entrusted me with them. You shall not touch them." The ghoul shrieked and ran. "How can a dead dog still speak?" Shh. Next night she returned. The girls, still fooled, burned the dog's body. The ghoul danced with joy, but again the dog's voice rose from the ashes. "You shall not touch them." She fled in terror again and again. Even when she asked them to throw the ashes in the well, the dog's voice echoed, "My master entrusted me with them." Eventually, the merchant returned and asked, "Where is the rooster, the donkey, the cat, the dog?" The youngest daughter wept and told him everything. The merchant said, "You were right, my daughter. That was a ghoul, and if not for the dog's loyalty, you would have all been eaten." He wept for the brave dog and swore to take revenge. That night, he dug a deep pit before the door, filled it with firewood, and covered it with sand. At midnight, the ghoul crept up, whispering, "Finally, the dog is gone. You're all mine." But as she stepped forward, she fell into the hidden fire, and the merchant and his daughters pelted her with stones until she was dead. They dragged her out and threw her body to the wild dogs. The next day, they went to her house and found a chest full of gold. The merchant took it and became one of the wealthiest men in the land. He built a palace in place of their old home and bought a new, noble dog to guard them. As for the girls, they lived in comfort and joy and learned to treat the cat with kindness. And they finally understood that wisdom is not measured by age but by sense and loyalty.